Mm-hmm. All right. So we got pre-training, we have during training, now post-training. Really fine-tuning your reflection. So whether that is taking notes on how the session went, taking notes on different constraints that you use within the session so that you're like, wow, that really worked and I can't wait to try that with so-and-so. Or asking for feedback. I think this is sometimes a hard one, especially when we don't want to hear the answer. This was something that I faced a couple weeks ago where the session was terrible. It was a disaster. And I asked for feedback. And I knew as soon as I opened that door that it was, my ego was going to hurt, right? Like we all have an ego. And that I became a bit defensive about my session that I put on. And luckily, obviously it was with Goalkeeper that I have a really strong relationship with and a strong connection with. And so we went back and forth in a really respectful way. But it was definitely enlightening to me. And it allowed both of us to have a space to say what our needs are and for them to say, we needed more support with this. And for me to say, I was trying to support you and I chose a different way to support you. So it really was, though, it was like great because at the end of the day, I think next time that situation occurs, I can check in to be like, hey, what do you guys need right now? Instead of just kind of solving it in the way I think they need, I can say, hey, how are you guys feeling right now? And what do you need? And can we find compromise in what your needs are and what I need from this session as well? So not only did that bring some awareness around places that I could get better, but it also continue to deepen the trust between both parties to say, I hope that I created a space where the goalkeepers were like, she wants to hear what we have to say. Our voices are important and we feel safe enough to say our truths. And also we can have a conversation because ultimately it is about our development. So I think if you would sum that up in reflection, that would typically come down to character, right? Like, am I regulated enough to hear negative feedback? Am I open to hear feedback? Am I brave to even ask goalkeepers for that feedback? And at the end of the day, am I receptive to that feedback? Am I willing to like hear it and let it sink in and allow it to make me a better coach? Which I think sometimes people are kind of shocked that we ask goalkeepers, well, all right, we debrief about their performance, but like debrief about my performance as a coach, right? And we had someone come work our camp a couple summers ago, and she was like, "I can't believe you opened the door for criticism. Like you opened the door for them to criticize you." And I was like, "But I don't see it as criticism. I see it as an opportunity for them to voice their opinion and allow their needs to be met, and also for me to hear them so that I can adjust and meet their needs, right?" And
Yeah.
she was like, but if you take it, and I was like, no, we're in a safe place. We have established a really good trust here. And I know that their feedback is just allowing them a voice and a narrative. And because this is about their journey, it's not about me. Right. Yeah. Do you do that with your goalkeepers?
I do that definitely more at TKI, I think, than I do at St. Joe's. And it's not necessarily because I don't want feedback. I think it just ends up being a time thing. Like we're pretty much going right from being together to being with the team. So it's a little bit less frequently asked, but that is something that I think would be interesting to get a perspective on because they're both coming from a different training background. Where when it was Katie, we had trained together for 5 years. She worked at TKI. She coached at TKI. She trained at TKI. So I think it was something that like, it was almost implicit that it was going to happen. Like give me feedback on that. Where I think it's a little less now. And I think having the perspective, like maybe they've trained XYZ way and they have more opinions on something they need or want. But I do think it is an interesting question and it takes people back because even when you do it with a goalkeeper, like, well, did you like that or did you not like that? Is there anything you would change? A lot of times, like their immediate response is like this, no. I'm like, you answered so fast. I know you didn't think about it. I'm okay. So it's like teaching goalkeepers that is okay. But it does help because we give them feedback. We debrief them at the end, like you said.
Right.
Why can't we get better? Like that is part of quarterbacking your development is being able to take in and receive that criticism that might ultimately help you or at least at the bare minimum change your perspective on something.
And I just feel like when we open the door to say, hey, what did you think of this? Tell me what you want more of or less of. Tell me a way that felt good for you when I communicated with you, or if there was something that I can do better, right? Because ultimately, we then gain information, right? We gain information on what they need and where we can support them. Ultimately, I want to fill the gap where someone is not confident, right? So if someone says, hey, that was awesome, but I need more pressure because that's a bit more representative of what I'll see in a game. Boom, great. You're saying your need out loud. You also have thought about what you need, which is so important, right? Like we criticize goalkeepers because they don't understand the game, but we then coach them in a way that is so just prescriptive, and we tell them what to do. Where now when we do this debrief, we're opening the door for them to say, that was great, but can we add more? Can you put a penny on that person? Can you make them the defender the whole time and not only some of the time? I need this. And then they're thinking about the game. And guess what? A lot of these players that are playing want to ultimately coach. And so now they're seeing the game from a different perspective that one day will make them a better coach as well. So to me, it's just like endless possibilities for this to improve yourself, the team, the environment, the relationships, the game understanding. It's just a very, maybe could take 1 to 2 minutes long, but infinitely helpful in the end.
Yeah. And it's not like you have to ask it every time. Like, you don't have to ask
Yeah.
that every single time. Like, if you work with a group consistently, like, let's say you work at something where you train in the style like TKI, where you maybe see those goalkeepers once or twice a week for a group, or maybe you see one goalkeeper one time a week, a couple times a month. Like, you can ask them every time, or you can ask them some of the times. It doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter. I think it's about what you're looking for out of it and how you want to help them.
Yeah.
And I think that self-reflection doesn't have to just be that. Self-reflection can start off as just being you taking 5 minutes after your session and debriefing yourself, or you looking at your practice plan and kind of like writing some notes on how it went. Or sometimes, I know you and I both do this, we grab a whiteboard and we bring it with us, and like if we're having thoughts during it, we kind of just jot down a few and talk that
Mm-hmm.
over with the goalkeepers at the end, because I think that it's all of it is self-reflective, and all of it is an opportunity for you to kind of grow through what you're going through in that time.
Yeah. Totally agree. You guys, it's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to quarterback your own development. It's so hard to know what to look for and what to trust. However, if you're a coach and you're listening to this and you need support, like we really do want to support you and collaborate with you. We don't know all the answers. We're on a journey and a quest to be the most effective coaches that we can be. We are on a quest to refine our character and be role models, all those things. And you're not alone in that. If you want to know more information about the coaching college, please reach out, because we feel really blessed that people would trust us to come here and learn about how to be a better coach. But yeah, we're super excited for our interns to get here, because that's always a good venue for us to be able to instill our methods and character into the young people of the world. And also, if you're a
Let's get
goalkeeper
them
and
on
you're
the
listening,
podcast.
I know. And if you're a goalkeeper and you're listening to this and you made it all the way here, maybe you're interested in coaching. Maybe you should think about that at some point. But I want to say thank you to West Coast for being our partner, our glove partner, and our goalkeeper equipment partner. They make pro level gloves for everyone with the premium material at the top of the line. They have over 100 goalkeepers all over the world that are their West Coast pros like Kalen Sheridan, who everyone at TKI knows, and Matt Turner over the US. But they have over 40 models available. There's a glove for everyone. We use them every day here. I don't wear any other glove. I have about
Never would.
17 pairs that have never worn out, and I love them so much. They're so comfortable. If I was still playing, I would only wear them. And if you guys are interested in those, please shop at westcoastgoalkeeping.com. That's where we get our goalkeeper gloves. Hopefully you get them there too. Tori, end us with your question of the podcast.
Well, Jill, it only feels fitting to ask you, what's your favorite West Coast goalkeeping glove to wear?
I really like the Evil Twins, the Stephen Fry gloves. They're my favorite. I don't know. I like the look. I like the feel. They feel perfectly great on my hands without the finger savers. And they're black, and so they go with everything.
Do they have the little jellies inside?
Oh yeah, I do like those.
I
Yeah.
love
What's
the
your
little
favorite?
jellies. I'm into the Phantoms right now. Big Phantom girly. Nice and tight. They slip
Yeah.
on. I don't know if when I was playing, if I would have worn something that slips on like that. Maybe I would have.
Yeah.
I would have tried it. But
Yeah.
as a coach, I think it's so nice because I can just get them on and off real easy.
There you go. With the little watch.
Welcome to the Keeper Institute podcast. My name is Tori Corsaro. I'm a strength and conditioning and goalkeeper coach here at the Keeper Institute and your host for today's show. The Keeper Institute is a unique goalkeeper training facility in New Jersey aimed at developing better goalkeepers and better people. On this podcast, we will be discussing all things goalkeeping, character development, and more.
Welcome back to another episode of the Keeper Institute podcast. It almost had an echo, and I like that.
Yeah. Like
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like a little twang to it, but
Usually
okay,
you have
we
an
talked
echo
about the air horn.
echo, but usually you have an echo because I'm the echo.
That
Like you go
is
brr, brr,
true.
and I'm right behind you, and so it automatically sounds like echo.
You're the world's best hype woman.
I think we should fashion 100 ways to talk about the air horn on all the rest of 100 more podcasts because I feel like we do it every time. And then we talk about how we do it every time.
We are nothing else if we are not predictable and obsessed with goalkeeping.
Yeah, that is true. Yep.
This is who we are.
All right, Tor.
Take it away.
Yeah, what are we excited for today?
Today we're excited to talk about this topic. We are talking all about air quotes balls over your head. I get this question so often, like, I need to be better at the balls over my head. And to me, I'm like, well, can you explain it? And I think that's usually my first question when a goalkeeper comes in and they want to work on this. And it's one of two things. It's either a shot that was hit above their head, and in that case, we're working on diving up. That's how I would refer to it. Or two, it's an aerial service. And for me, an aerial service, think about set pieces, crosses, maybe like, I don't know, something from the flank, something from the half space. I think those are two very separate things that are kind of handled in two different ways because one is protecting the goal area and one is protecting the goal. So today we're not really going to talk about shots that are struck above your head and diving up. We're going to talk about aerial services. And I think this is an area that a lot of goalkeepers across the boards, all different levels, all different skills, all different ages need help with.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is a big change from like my generation of goalkeeper because my generation of goalkeeper played all different types of sports growing up, right? And I played basketball, I played softball, I played soccer, I played in the yard, I played basketball, pick up basketball every day at my house. And not to say that obviously if I spent a little more time practicing soccer, that would be helpful. But in the interim, like my mom couldn't also take me everywhere because she was a single parent. And so I practiced 2 days a week. I had one game and then the rest of the time I played in the yard. And I think that was a large part of like where my athleticism grew and developed. And I think if you can develop your athleticism at a younger age, you also have the ability to manipulate your body and solve problems in different, more specific ways when you're older. So that's going to probably fall a little bit in line with your three things.
It is 100% going to fall in line, and you teed me up perfectly to talk about point number one. So for me, if you want to be better at aerial services, you have to get better at catching the ball over your head. And I'm not talking a soccer ball. I'm talking at get better with your hand-eye coordination, get better at depth perception, go out in the yard, throw a football. Go out in the yard, put on a baseball or softball glove, and throw that. I think that it's all about being able to read that and see that. And, you know, you are the master of learning about learning. If you listen to our last podcast, you would know she's obsessed with it right now. But learning about learning, I need your help here. if we've seen a problem before, and even if it's not exactly the same, is that helpful when I go to a topic that is like that problem?
Not necessarily, because our training is based on direct perception. So if I perceive information, then I am afforded an opportunity to solve it in potentially different ways based on my skill set and whatever information I'm reading. However, I feel like the more athleticism that we develop, the more opportunities we have to be able to contort and manipulate our bodies to be able to solve a multitude of different problems. So just maybe think about, like, if I only ever ran in one direction, forward, then I only have that tool to be able to solve in my toolbox, right? But if I am comfortable moving in a different planes of movement and whatnot, I feel like I would have more tools to be able to solve any problem. If that
Good. I knew you'd
Is
have a
that
way to
clear?
explain it. So
Okay.
100% clear to me. So it's less about like it's going to transfer exactly. It's more about giving my
Body control.
body the ability to do what I'm trying to ask it to when it perceives what's coming.
Correct. Mhm.
Okay. I knew she'd be able to explain it, people. But I just find this so important. And I think that this is a skill. If you're a parent listening, like this is a skill that you can help your young athlete develop from a small age or from a very young age. Like we're talking Levi and Hudson, right? We can play with them. We can throw the ball with them and they're going to learn how to move their body and they're probably not going to catch it.
No.
But I can
I
tell
can
you,
attest.
Hudson does have an arm.
I can attest, though, neither one of my kids can catch. And that's okay. It's okay.
Right. But I just think it's a simple way to get yourself also to just be more comfortable doing more things. And it doesn't necessarily just have to go out and throw a ball and catch overhead, but we could even take this point and twist it into athleticism in general. And that can come down to playing different sports, like Jill said. It can come down to playing outside and testing your physical capabilities that way. And it can come down to, depending on, what age you're at and what stage you're at, going into the gym and working with someone like Leah at Whole Set Fitness who can help you learn how to manipulate and control your body a little bit better. So that way, when you do get into the game, it doesn't feel so big, so scary to have to go up and jump and win this ball or get knocked over by someone or figure out how to get through traffic to get to a ball. So I think if I had to categorize this topic into one thing, I'd say physical readiness or like overall general athleticism. That's going to help you tremendously with aerial services.
Yeah, and I think the biggest trap, though, for goalkeeper coaches who are listening to this is they say, well, 10-year-olds don't really get crosses, right? They don't get crosses over their head. And so I'm going to wait to work on that. And I think that's a mistake. I think you would want to incorporate some elements of, athleticism over your head, even at a young age. Whether you guys are playing games where maybe they're working on jumping and protecting the crossbar type situation, or, playing a game like handball, but the ball can only be caught over your head. It's just fun, different ways to develop athleticism, because I think if you wait until age 13, 14, when they're actually receiving crosses over their head to work on it, I think it's going to be, it's not too late, but we could have already instilled some of those athletic manipulations earlier.
For sure. And this goes into point 2 as well, because they might not be at 10 crossing in balls perfectly into the 6 or the back post or the near post, but they are trying to serve in a ball into the 18. And part of it is being in good position and reading when you're going to come get it. You might not at that age be reading the flight of the ball, but you are reading when can I come win the ball, which is point number 2. We can be better at aerial services if we're more intentional with following, reading, attacking the flight of the ball. So we changed our verbiage a little while ago to go from win it as at its highest point to win it as early as possible. And you're the one who taught me that, Jill. So I'm going to have you explain maybe kind of what was going on when, or what made you kind of think, okay, let's change it from this to this.
Well, I think anytime that the ball is served into the box, anytime, like even if it's on the floor, even if it's in behind the back line, our objective is to prevent any possibility, prevent any shot if we can, and if not, react. And that's the same on service into the box, whether it's aerial service over your head, whether it's low service in from across. We want to prevent as much as we possibly can. So if I wait, then I'm giving the opponent an opportunity to impact the ball before me, right? If I wait and allow someone to get their head in there earlier, then I'm not preventing anything. So we want to try to be as preventative as possible. Typically, that means I want to win the ball as early as I can. I want to impact it as early as I can, because then I can mute the opponent. I can negate their ability to get a head or toe or flick or anything on it. And so just thought, well, the ball's always not high too, because someone can be in the wide channel and they can be a little bit further out and they could serve it early into the box and it could be along the floor. So protecting the goal area isn't just aerial service, but it can be maybe preventative measure like come out and spread, right? So it just got me thinking, well, the ball's always not high. So how can we reword this so it's more clear for goalkeepers? And early as possible came along. And I think depending on the pressure, we want to win it as early as possible or as early as we need to.
Yeah, as early as we need to. I like that too. I actually haven't heard that one before, or putting it that way, and I do like it. But I think it just comes down to putting your goalkeepers or putting yourself in positions or starting positions and situations even where you have to kind of adjust what you're seeing, right? Am I working on crosses? Am I working on corners? Am I working on stuff from the flank where I'm under pressure, where it's realistic and where I have to make choices? I think that makes me explore and decide, okay, this is what as early as possible looks like for me. I have to use this footwork, or I have to use that footwork, and I have to win it in front of pressure, on top of, behind. I think all of that is what really leads into starting to feel more comfortable and more confident with what your range is in those kinds of services. Because one last point before I move on here into my final of the three is you don't have to own your six. That's a myth. Yeah. Sweet, cool. If you can come win it, it's in your six, please do. But I don't necessarily prescribe to that, nor do I think it's true. I think there's definitely things inside your six that maybe you have no business coming out for, even if you're one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
I totally agree with you. And that's why it's important to coach by principles and not by rules, because that rule is not always true, but principle gives goalkeepers agency and choice and autonomy.
Who doesn't love agency, choice, and autonomy? All right. Before we dive into another podcast amid this podcast.
Yeah.
Number three, get comfortable leaving your feet. I think that so many goalkeepers feel like, one, they have to catch it if they're coming to win it, and two, that they have to stay on their feet and just jump up and grab it and then come back down on their feet. You are going to find so much more freedom, and you are going to feel like your range has increased if you start to get comfortable and see it as a problem where you're allowed to dive and leave your feet. I really, truly believe that. I don't care if you're 6'5" or if you're 5'3" like me. Leaving your feet gives you more ability to cover space faster. It's just like diving. Like, you don't shuffle and try to catch everything because it's slower. Where if I dive to a ball, it's faster. It's the same thing on crosses. If I can get there as early as possible because I'm going to lean and push off and punch the ball away, then that might be the most effective way to cover more ground or to get there before pressure. So I think that this is not a point that I personally have a lot to go on with. I'll give you a second to explain maybe your thoughts on it. But if we can get comfortable leaving our feet for crosses or for anything in the air, we're going to start to feel a little bit more freedom with what we can come out for.
Yeah, and I think that kind of connects to your first 2 points in terms of, athletic development too. Like, we want to be comfortable leaving off of 1 foot, landing on 1 foot, landing on 2 feet, contorting our body around pressure, feeling strong and being able to attack the ball over top of someone. I think, giving and affording opportunities for goalkeepers to explore those moments in training is going to be really important with some type of live pressure or as live as we can make it. But I think that's when you learn, like, okay, I can't take that ambitious false step forward, because then I can't really have time to get into position, whether it's to react or whether it's to impact the ball. But yeah, I think that the more opportunities we can give them to solve those problems, the better.
Absolutely. So let's just wrap it up right here. Ready? If you want to be better at aerial services, I'm not talking shots above your head, I'm talking aerial services, balls that have been flighted in or driven into the box. I think there's 3 things you can do. 1, develop your athleticism, whether you're at a young age or if you're in the middle or higher end of your career. Continue to be an athlete, try new things, maybe different sports, cross sport type training, or get in the gym to work on manipulating your body and getting comfortable with that. 2, win the ball as early as possible and just get more confident in reading the flight of the ball. So those two, in my opinion, go hand in hand, as well as kind of a side point positioning. Your starting position is huge. Read the flight of the ball, decide how early you can win it. Last point, get comfortable leaving your feet. Give yourself the ability to cover more and get there faster by pushing off, diving, punching the ball away potentially. I think those 3 things are skills that you can do, you can practice, you can create within a session if you're a coach that are going to help your goalkeeper develop a lot more confidence on what they can cover when the ball's flying into the air.
All great points, Tor. Which leads me to my question of the podcast for you, and this is a goalkeeper one. This isn't a random one.
Nice.
What part of your game did you specifically struggle with the most as a goalkeeper? And you can pick any level that you played.
Protecting the goal area.
Was it?
Yeah. Everyone told me I needed to be good at it and that I was small, so I wasn't good at it. So it was like this self-fulfilling prophecy of like, you're not good at it, so you need to be good at it. So I just made a lot of emotional decisions and did weird things instead of being effective for what I could do in my skill set.
Yeah, I think that's a common misconception of goalkeepers is they need to be a certain height so that they can impact the goal area. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think there's ways that shorter goalkeepers can maximize their skill sets by being super mindful of their positioning to impact multiple outcomes. They're being quick with their footwork and their decisions, reading the flight of the ball, being able to punch in all directions, near post, back post, one hand, two hand. There isn't specific size that says if you're 6 foot, you're going to be good at protecting the goal area. So you want to be able to maximize your skill set no matter how you are. What I struggled with the most was in possession and the mental side. I crumbled under pressure, and I also didn't have tools to be able to solve pressure, which is why those are my 2 most passionate elements of coaching that I feel like maybe I haven't mastered the mental side, but the in possession side, I feel like we've really broken that down into bite-sized, digestible things for goalkeepers and giving them some quick tools that they probably already have, just were never aware of to be able to solve problems. But what helps us solve problems is our partnership with West Coast Goalkeeping, because they supply us with our gloves and our goalkeeper equipment, and they make gloves for every level. They come in premium material, top of the line. They represent over 100 goalkeepers around the world, our favorite, Kalen Sheridan, and U.S. goalkeeper Matt Turner. They have over 40 models available, a glove for everyone, and I love them. You love them. We all love them. Get them at westcoastgoalkeeping.com. And we would love to meet you guys and be able to work with you. We have a bunch of different events throughout the year. We have stuff during our summer. If you guys live from out of town, we have 3-day camps, our select camps, which are in June and July. We have a high school camp, which is in July. And if you live in California or Washington and you can't make it all the way to New Jersey, we do have TKI University, which starts in July, which is something I love and I'm super passionate about. It's about teaching goalkeepers the principles of the game and supporting them on their journeys for 6 months. It's meeting with me once a month, meeting with Coach Chris on the mental side once a month, and then individual meeting to support your specific needs. And that's a 6-month course that starts in July and ends in December. I would love for you guys to be in my class. It's a small group. Only 12 goalkeepers are permitted in each class. And if you want more information and you want to be a more confident goalkeeper, go over to thekeeperinstitute.com and all the information is there.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
There's no better way to learn than
There
TKI
is no better
University.
way. I
We
totally
would
agree.
love to have you at the facility, though, or at camp. So if you can make it, check it out.
And I feel like I need to start like printing diplomas or something, like masters in goalkeeping.
That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Do you think it's legit?
I mean, it's legit it's credible in our house.
It's like when a kid gets like a graduation from preschool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It means a lot, but nothing edible.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this up, Tori. We'll catch you later.
We'll catch you later.